faithfully delivering value, exploring global literature. Hi, this is Sally's Book Club. Today we're exploring the book The Awakened Parent, whose English edition carries the subtitle Changing Ourselves to Empower Our Children. And as the title suggests, this book examines how parents can transform themselves to empower their children. The author is Dr. Shefali Sabari, a renowned Indian American psychologist and psychotherapist who earned her PhD in clinical psychology from Columbia University. Early in her career, Dr. Sabari integrated Eastern mindfulness philosophy with Western psychological theories, forming her unique approach to conscious parenting. This fusion of Eastern and Western thought has earned Dr. Sabari widespread acclaim across cultural boundaries. The Awakened Parent. Since its 2010 publication, this book remained on Amazon's parenting bestseller list for 4 consecutive years. The core argument examines how parental self-cultivation impacts child development at psychological and emotional levels. Dr. Sabari's philosophy echoes the modern saying, "There are no problem children, only problem parents." The central thesis maintains that parents must confront their authentic selves to truly accept their children and build harmonious relationships. The book begins by challenging conventional parenting goals, proposing that all parents start from unconscious patterns that create ego-driven parenting. This concept analysis reveals how ego-conscious consciousness maintains parental unawareness, followed by practical strategies for ego transcendence, ultimately outlining pathways for mutual awakening between parents and children. The Awakened Parent. This 220,000-word work comprises 17 chapters. To efficiently grasp its essence, we'll focus on 3 core questions. First, what characterizes unconscious parenting? Second, what causes parental unconsciousness? Third, how can parents achieve awakening? First question, what defines unconscious parenting? We all begin from unconscious patterns. As parents, most envision ourselves as ideal caregivers. Certainly, many parents perform admirably, genuinely loving their children. However, many parents impose their own will onto their children. Such impositions precisely reflect parental unconsciousness. First, let's examine parental ego-conscious consciousness. The Awakened Parent introduces the concept of ego consciousness to analyze patterns of parental unawareness. Dr. Sabari defines ego-conscious consciousness as artificially constructed self-perception, primarily shaped by external opinions. This consciousness often manifests as inflated self-importance or vanity. It expresses through national identity, profession, or personal interests. Examples include national affiliations, French, occupations, or hobbies. While seemingly innocuous, these declarations may conceal underlying ego consciousness in specific contexts. Ego-conscious consciousness deceives us into mistaking it for authentic selfhood. A recent example illustrates this phenomenon. In Shanghai, a primary school parent committee election saw candidates flaunting elite credentials. WeChat chat logs revealed mothers touting prestigious overseas education and executive experience. One claimed multinational leadership, another student council presidency, while a third boasted financial connections, including manipulating stock prices. These parents conflate ego-conscious consciousness with true identity, per Dr. Sabari's theory, subconsciously perpetuating hierarchical education through success-based superiority. Essential committee qualities: observation, judgment, patience, and time commitment. These requirements remain independent of social status or income. Important clarification: Dr. Sabari acknowledges ego-conscious consciousness's neutrality. She maintains ego-conscious consciousness functions as psychological adaptation mechanism. Core argument: ego-conscious consciousness exists as a neutral psychological mechanism. He uses a metaphorical explanation. Ego consciousness acts like an eggshell, protective during early development, but when the chick outgrows protection, Unbroken shells hinder growth. Thus, ego consciousness becomes parents' psychological eggshell. Parents naturally possess nationality, status, profession, and interests. But awakening requires breaking the shell to discover authentic selves. Sheltered parents risk distorted perception of reality. Shell penetration triggers intense disappointment, guilt, or sorrow. Ironically, children often become primary shell breakers. And what are the types of ego conscious consciousness? 5 categories: image driven, perfectionist, identity based, normative, and control obsessed. First, examining image driven ego conscious consciousness. Dr. Sabari cites a principal's call about 9-year-old school fight. The parent refused, believing their angel could misbehave, experiencing shame yet denying reality, escalating conflicts with school authorities and other parents. This mother exemplifies image driven, ego conscious, conflating child's behavior with self worth. The child's misconduct shattered maternal self image, the broken eggshell of her perfect parent fantasy. Public embarrassment from unexpected behavioral issues. Perfectionist, ego consciousness proves equally destructive through unrealistic standards. Such parents demand flawless performance, creating toxic pressure cycles. Dr. Saberi observes anger reveals our enslavement to ego conscious consciousness. Third, let's explore identity based ego conscious consciousness, particularly prevalent parental identities. Elite education, corporate positions, awards, even birthplace become ego components. I graduated from prestigious 985 institutions. How could my child not attend top tier universities? Urban parents' educational obsessions stem from status driven ego consciousness. This consciousness masks deep seated insecurity. Anxious parents transmit stress, destabilizing family dynamics. Next, normative ego conscious consciousness. Some parents enforce rigid behavioral codes. Non-compliance triggers authority challenge reactions. Marriage market norms exemplify this consciousness. Our urban lineage for 3 generations. How dare my daughter marry rural? Such binary thinking sacrifices authentic relationships for social conformity. This constitutes intellectual laziness. Using societal norms as decision shortcuts demonstrates parental negligence. Finally, control-obsessed ego-conscious. For your own good rationalizes feeding control to career arrangements. Overprotection stifles children's resilience and independence. Understanding unconscious parenting's consequences, Dr. Sabari warns unconscious parenting creates emotional pressure, damaging children's core needs. Dr. Sabari provides diagnostic criteria for parental self-assessment. 1. Children avoid risks when parents only praise success and punish failure. 2. Children lie because truth-telling triggers parental anger. 3. Childhood anxiety stems from parents' constant future obsession. 4. Self-loathing develops when parents impose personal preferences. 5. Rebellious behavior emerges from suppressed autonomy. This concludes our first section summary. Key conclusions. First, parental unconsciousness originates from ego-conscious consciousness overriding children's perspectives. Second, 5 ego types: image, perfectionism, identity, norms, control. Third, unconscious parenting breeds anxiety and relational deterioration. What causes parental unconsciousness? This leads to our second core analysis. Primary cause: misplaced parental objectives. Dr. Sabari challenges traditional parenting motivations like lineage continuation or dream fulfillment. True parenting should cultivate independent thinkers, not self-replicas. Unresolved parental issues create emotional transference to children. This generational pattern reinforces hierarchical control illusions. Parents mistakenly perceive children as incompetent dependents requiring transformation. Thus, parents rationalize control as natural obligation, fostering rigidity. Conflict triggers default responses. This is for your own good, or we've been through this before. Infants rarely resist such control mechanisms. Emerging autonomy remains powerless against parental dominance. Children's developmental receptivity enables unconscious parenting patterns. Early compliance masks later rebellion during adolescence. In reality, children evolve while parents stagnate. Cyclical conflicts exhaust both generations. Second cause, inadequate preparation. Most parental preparations remain superficial. Dr. Sabari's analogy, corporate leadership versus parenting responsibilities. How many parents define their parental mission? What constitutes your parenting philosophy? How to operationalize these principles daily. Strategic planning parity between enterprise and parenting. Pre-parenting requirement. Defined mission and implementation blueprint. Reality. Many become parents without existential clarity. Material preparations overshadow psychological readiness. Spiritual transformation remains unaddressed. Conclusion: dual causes of parental unconsciousness. Primary cause: misguided objectives, like lineage continuation or self-replication. Dr. Sabari asserts parenting's ultimate goal is cultivating children's independence. Many parents underestimate the necessary post-parenthood transformation. This transformation demands psychological readiness beyond material preparation. Generational emotional patterns foster parental superiority complexes, prioritizing control over empathy. Now we address the crucial third question. How can parents achieve awakening? First principle, self-acceptance, embracing one's authentic self, essentially accepting one's physique, personality, and capabilities. Proactive acceptance, not reluctant compliance, prevents arrogance regarding strengths. Conversely, it prevents insecurity when confronting weaknesses. Dr. Sabari emphasizes awakening exists on a continuum, not binary states. Initial ego-conscious dominance is universal in early parenting stages. Self-acceptance initiates transformation, even when immediate changes aren't visible. Acceptance itself constitutes progress and effort. Dr. Sabari shares personal acceptance practices in her writings. Example affirmations: I acknowledge my limitations and flaws. I own my reluctance, admitting failures. I accept occasional selfishness in parenting decisions. I embrace my parental clumsiness. This I accept. These represent fragments of comprehensive self-acceptance. Each individual crafts unique self-portraits through personalized acceptance narratives. Unrealistic expectations stem from unaddressed self-denial. Second principle, child acceptance, often more challenging. According to Dr. Sabari, first release grand expectations and embrace children's ordinariness. Contemporary parents obsess over children's future success, over scheduling extracurriculars. Dr. Sabari warns, overloaded children lose inner dialogue capacity. Parents must examine anxiety patterns and ego-conscious consciousness barriers to authentic acceptance. Affirmations: I accept my unique child, stubborn, slow to warm, even pressure-induced dishonesty. Embracing normality fosters family tranquility through reduced expectations. Are mundane moments truly valuable? The answer resounds, absolutely. The author catalogs ordinary miracles for parental mindfulness. Skin-to-skin connections during hand-holding, folding freshly laundered clothes together, family meals, shared excitement over new books, crunching autumn leaves during walks, celebrating found coins. These unremarkable, yet precious moments alleviate anxiety when fully embraced. Authentic acceptance enables children's self-driven growth within trusting relationships. Trust fosters mutual authenticity beyond parental roles. Daily interactions become observation windows into children's emotional landscapes. Thus, ordinary moments create virtuous cycles of connection. Many parents distractedly scroll phones during quality time attempts. Scenic views often override child-focused engagement during outings. Such behaviors disrespect children and hinder parental observation, escalating communication barriers. Dr. Sabari advocates treating children as spiritual equals to achieve profound emotional connection. Becoming mental partners requires empathetic perspective taking. Address issues through calm dialogue rather than immediate reprimands. Focus on guiding problem-solving processes, not demanding solutions. Third principle, establish boundaries. Acceptance differs from indulgence. Use daily experiences to cultivate rule-aware awareness and discipline. Parenting stages require differentiated approaches. Infants demand constant care. Adolescents need restrained intervention. Diminishing interaction windows necessitate strategic communication. Teenagers particularly require awareness of parental interference consequences. Boundary setting demands continuous parental learning and adaptation. Contextual responsiveness supersedes rigid rule enforcement. Acknowledge deception as inherent human behavior, requiring nuanced handling. Fear-driven lies indicate educational failures requiring parental accountability. Proactively embrace children's mistakes as teachable moments. Celebrate honest admissions to reinforce positive behavioral patterns. Analyze motivations while maintaining trust through compassionate correction. Celebration prevents shame cycles without encouraging repeat offenses. Immediate intervention required for aggression or public disruptions. Examples: toy-related violence, disruptive noise, theft. Demand unequivocal prohibition. Children may consequently clash with their parents. Parents must confront rather than avoid such conflicts. Effective resolution requires granting reflection time and seizing teachable moments. Authoritarian approaches prove counterproductive. Parental self-reflection precedes behavioral analysis. Why physical aggression occurs? What unmet needs drive disruptive behaviors? What emotional currents remain unaddressed? Patient observation and dialogue reveal root causes for timely intervention. Consistent guidance cultivates intrinsic discipline over time. Fourth focus: trauma-surviving parents co-growing with children. Parents with childhood trauma often develop addictive dependencies while battling chronic self-doubt. Traumatized parenting frequently breeds emotional dysregulation in children. Children may internalize parental distress as self-blame. Dr. Sabari advises embracing pain as inherent life component rather than exoidahit. Suffering constitutes an inescapable natural emotion to be embraced rather than controlled. Learning coexistence with difficult emotions becomes essential. Pain and heartbreak don't define authentic selfhood rooted in love and joy. Parenting reveals boundless capacity for compassion through child-rearing challenges. Overcoming parenting obstacles cultivates sensitivity, empathy, and perceptiveness. Through continuous emotional connection and nurturing with children, we rediscover our authentic selves and heal past wounds. This mirrors the adage, rise from where you fell. Confronting past pain while cherishing ordinary moments with children facilitates self-acceptance. In this dynamic, children become parents' spiritual guides. Finally, practical awakening implementation strategies. How to operationalize parental awakening. Shortcut seeking reflects persistent, unconscious patterns. Dr. Sabari clarifies awakening as a lifelong philosophical practice, not instant solution. Awakening constitutes living philosophy rather than checklist. Quick fix seekers remain entrenched in unconsciousness. Practical tips for awakening pathways. Method 1: journaling practice. Implement automatic writing. Record unfiltered consciousness without preconceptions. Method 2: daily mindfulness meditation. Focused breathing awareness. This anchors consciousness in present moment awareness. Or principle: creating mental space for emotional processing. Metaphor: thoughts as highway traffic requiring spacing. Mental congestion reduces efficiency. Spacing enhances flow. Similarly, emotional regulation requires mental buffer zones, thus achieving optimal cognitive emotional functioning. We're concluding our exploration of the awakened parent. Before closing, let's revisit key concepts through Dr. Sabari's framework. 3 core inquiries addressed: manifestations of parental unconsciousness, root causes of parental unconsciousness, and pathways to awakened parenting. First, ego consciousness. Artificially constructed self-perception inflating fragile egos. 5 ego types: image-driven, perfectionist, identity-based, normative, control-obsessed. These patterns generate childhood anxiety and relational deterioration. Second, dual causation, misguided parental objectives, common flawed motivations, lineage continuation. familial entertainment, dream projection, insufficient psychological preparation, compounds intergenerational control patterns. Hierarchical parenting stifles independence through escalating dominance. Third, 5 awakening strategies. 1. Self-acceptance, embracing strengths and limitations, cultivating optimistic life engagement. 2. Child acceptance, releasing grandiose expectations, building trust through shared ordinary moments. 3. Boundary establishment through compassionate discipline. 4. Trauma-informed co-growth for healing intergenerational wounds. Fifth, we explored Dr. Sabari's awakening techniques, including associative journaling and mindful solitude practices. These require persistent implementation and gradual integration. No absolutely ideal parents or perfect children exist universally. May all parents achieve awakening and harmonious family bonds. This concludes our interpretation of The Awakened Parent. Find study notes below. Join us next time for another literary journey.